Welcome, 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 collectives. My name is Ora-gen, and this is the Ora-gen Channel. I want to welcome you back, no matter what time of day it is that you have found this message or what day you found it. I am super grateful that you are here. So before we get into the download today, guys, just something I want to mention. It's just so interesting how things come through your virtual desk within a 24-hour period, and how things tend to just fit together, or maybe there's a golden thread that leads through all of the information that kind of loosely connects it. And it might even be items that you were not expecting to speak about, information you were not expecting for it to come to you in the form that it did, but it did. So something here in the energy about that today. Just to start out, guys, today's date is Sunday, January 5th of 2025. And I captured some information here on, and this, you can just look this right up on the internet, Google, whatever. But the AI overview of the number 13, and it actually talked about multiple meanings. But in numerology generally, this number 13, which those of you who are seeing this reading today may have been running into the number 13 or some variable of 13 in the space around you. So definitely take note of this. So the number 13 is a sign of change, renewal, and transformation. It can also represent a fresh start, trusting the process, and welcoming transitions. I want you to really zero in on transitions out of that general information there, okay? Now, in astrology, the number 13 can symbolize death to the matter or oneself, and birth to the spirit. In the tarot, the number 13 is called death, but it usually means the end of a struggling period and new beginnings. So once again, more of that transition energy, okay? So that can be taken literally, like someone transitioning out of, off planet, basically passing away, or it can represent transition and new beginnings. So in a lot of cultures, the number 13 is considered to be unlucky, but it is mentioned here that in Chinese culture, the number 13 is considered lucky. I find that really interesting. So in Greek mythology, Zeus was the 13th and the most powerful god. So different viewpoints of the number 13, but something that is a pattern that we see in the information here that came up on the internet when looking up this number and generally what it represents. It has a lot to do with transformation and change and the ending of something and the beginning of something else. And it's a very powerful symbolic number in relation to transformation and change. So I want to just place that thought there because today's download is very interesting how those two tie in. Now, something else I want to mention before I get into the download is I was just checking out some videos this morning on YouTube, as I usually do. I sip my coffee, I think about the download, and this is after I meditate. I just see what comes through. And there was something on my watch later list that was actually speaking about, and it was a news download. It was like a news story or something. But it was a follow-up on the story about the woman who was burned to death on the subway in New York. And what was so interesting about it, I don't know if you guys recall a couple of readings back, I mentioned that a lot of the energy that we see in the media and the way stories are shared through the mainstream media, a lot of the information is not fully represented, either because they don't have it or because they don't feel it's important to the story, or because they're just not going to share it because there's something there that they don't want the populace knowing or understanding. So sometimes we're getting the surface story, but we're not really understanding truly who the players in the story are, especially if they're connected to other individuals that they don't really want to talk about, or other aspects of the story that they don't want to talk about. And now I've maintained this viewpoint of mainstream media for many years. This might be a new thought for you, for those of you visiting the channel or subscribers to the channel today who are seeing this message. This might also not be a new thought for you because a lot of you are very open-minded because you're members of the collectives. But with this thought in place, this video that I watched talked about how they were able to identify who this woman was that was burned alive in the subway in New York. Now, when they originally ran this story, they were speaking about how this woman was homeless, or at least that's how she was identified or thought to be. And that this man who was, I guess they were saying had illegally entered the country, had actually been the one to burn this woman alive. And I think I heard that they said something about how heinous the crime was because this man tried to sit with the body to make sure that the woman was burned completely. So there's a lot of intent here for, even let's say a person has some sort of mental disorder where they're not able to function in a way that, allows them to like tap in and tune in at all in any way, shape, or form. That is still a lot of intent to put into making sure that someone is completely unalived. I always thought that was suspicious. And even the footage of the man that they, have in court here, that they have on trial for the murder of this woman, his facial expression, his demeanor, evidently, I don't think he speaks English well because he's not from the U.S. So the first question is, if he's not from the U.S. and he's not, doesn't speak English well, how does he know this woman? How did he have enough discussions with her to have maybe a disagreement or an argument where he would then want to, unalive this woman? The thought in the media was that, well, maybe they were all homeless and there was some sort of disagreement or some items that, this individual might have wanted to take from this woman, like this man was also homeless. But still, if two people can't even communicate, we don't know that this woman, because she's not here to speak about it, could communicate with this man for them to have a disagreement or for her to share what items she has or doesn't have. The whole thing was just really bizarre, okay? And this is just a personal viewpoint. But then in the video today that I watched, they were basically stating that neighbors who lived around a home in a community, I forget which state or which city, maybe somewhere on the East Coast, I can look again. But in the video, basically, some neighbors spoke up that lived in the community that this woman, her mother lived in, or that the woman was from. And so one of the women in the video, who looked to be like a senior, had purchased the home that the woman who was burned alive in, her mother used to live in. This woman had bought that woman's mother's home and was living in it, and stated she recognized the name when she saw the story on the news about this woman being burned alive, that last name was actually somewhere on the paperwork that she signed when she purchased the home. She also mentioned that this woman, the one who'd been burned alive, at some earlier point had come to her home after purchasing it and asking where her mother was. This neighbor then stated, "Oh, I've purchased this home. She's not here." And the neighbor stated that she was kind of shocked that this woman didn't know that her mother no longer lived in this house. She mentioned that was surprising to her. She also mentioned that the woman did not appear to be homeless. She said she was clean. She looked like somebody who was nourished, clean, and functioning. And she actually stepped out of a cab and walked up to the door. And then when she had the discussion with the woman got back into a cab and left. How does a homeless woman have money for a cab, guys? Another neighbor who did not want her face on camera spoke up and stated that basically it was unimaginable that this woman who had lived in this community could be in New York on a subway, homeless, and have ended up in this predicament. So what really came across to me is that these individuals who saw, like laid eyes on this woman, were shocked that this woman would even be in a predicament where that could happen. Because they didn't know her as a homeless woman. So just a thought here, guys, about news stories being released and then more information coming out that gets you thinking about what really happened here, because the math is not mathing. This woman was being represented in one way as a homeless, unknown individual that just lived on the street in New York. And here are these other two women who are, both of them were like the age of like seniors, stating that they both saw, laid eyes on this woman and both saw that this woman was not homeless. And her mother used to live in the house in that community. Very strange, guys. So always be mindful of the information you're receiving, how it's being presented, and what else might be going on there. Always look deeper than the surface layer being presented. The other thing is, I do believe strongly that a lot of the messages, readings, information on these energies that are coming up in the tarot readings and the oracle readings on YouTube and what's the other, you can tell I don't use it, the other social media, TikTok, that these energies are showing up in these readings. We're hearing about the other aspects of these stories. So when these videos from mainstream media surface, which they typically do, we may not know that it's actually a direct correlation to messages that have been coming up about these energies from the tarot and energy readers. We may not connect it because the message, the story, is being given by the mainstream media in such a basic manner. Almost to the point where it's kind of misrepresented, either because they don't have all the information or because they're hiding information. Some of these people that have these strange things happening are not just everyday, regular, degular people. There's more going on here. So guys, I just want to open with that because the thread, the golden thread we're going to just pull on for today's download actually deals with that energy of looking deeper than the surface layer. When we talk about this energy that's been coming up around tarot land, around the energy readers, about inheritances. And this is a topic that got spoken about so much. Some readers literally had to just take a break. Just take a break from doing readings. They're like, I feel like I'm giving the same reading over and over again. That is because there are so many energies in the collectives that are associated with this message it's coming up again and again and again in different forms. Today's reading is no exception to that truth. The thing I want you to think about, guys, just like with news stories and there being more that needs to be considered, more that needs to be understood or looked into, not just the surface information that's being given. I want you to think about that with today's download. The fact that there is a symbolic message and there is a literal message. Both are present in the energy when we talk about inheritances. When you start to look at it that way, you begin to see how many energies all over the globe that this particular message about inheritances touches. That's why it's so prevalent in the energy. So basically, we have to release a bit of this materialism mindset in order to pick up on the symbology. Sometimes it's a physical inheritance, money, houses, items, vehicles, whatever, property. And sometimes that inheritance is representing something spiritual, a gift, some sort of energy, some sort of opening to something that was blocked, resisted against, withheld from groups and collectives. And these terms like mother figure, father figure, these may not always be technical family members of the collectives. These could be energies that are standing in a certain energy within themselves. And this is how they view themselves. We're picking up on the energy, or this is how others around them view these energies, but they may not be physically related to the collectives. This is how they're coming through in the energy in regard to the collectives, but it doesn't make them literal family members. Some of these energies don't even personally know the collectives. They've stalked them, followed them, and have been resisting against them for so long, they may feel like they know the collectives. But the collectives have never physically met these energies in their life. Almost like someone feeling around in the energy and they find an anomaly and they just latch onto it. And they follow that anomaly their entire life. Yeah, that energy might feel like they know that anomaly, i.e. the collectives, but they really don't. They know the energy that they have been trying to siphon or drain for years. They don't know the person. And some of these energies doing this might be mother figures, father figures, whatever terms or definitions we want to give to these energies, but they're not related to the collectives. So once again, we're touching on symbology. This is super important when we look at energies like this and when we look at readings like this. So guys, I did do a pre-pull on this because I really wanted to see like what was going on with the energy today. And I do have multiple items here to help with the reading. So I have the story cubes, I have the archetypes deck, I have the clarifying life situations, and I also have the pink tarot. I have the handwritten deck too that has countries, starseed origins, cities, states, just some different information here to help us to understand more about this. And that was an interesting pull, because as I went into that deck, what I could see is my thought on how many members of the collectives this energy touches was correct, because there was state cards and country cards coming out from all over the place, tons of different starseed origins. I was seeing many different energies that this particular reading touches on. Okay, guys, so with that thought in mind, with that energy in mind, let's go into the download for today. So once again, the download came through on Sunday, January 5th of 2025. So the key event here is there's an adult masculine child. So this is a energetic or a literal family member of someone who is receiving a house, literal or symbolic. Okay. So in the download, there was something here about walking into a family's home. This could also represent the family room type oracle energy, a space or an energetic space where it represents a group, an organization, or a family that is of the same energy, same mindset, or working on something together. But if you were walked into a home and there were multiple family members in this home was in a neighborhood. The neighborhood was a little hazy. It looked like a upper middle class neighborhood. So the home was well lit with sunlight, so the sun was coming in, but it was somewhat cluttered. There was a lot of people and things in this home. So the viewer was present to assist with some sort of cleaning or organizing, like they had called someone in to assist because it was very cluttered. I noticed here multiple family members were present. So like a mother figure, a father figure, adult children, and possible extended family, like maybe aunts, uncles, cousins. There's a lot of people present. So in this download, two masculines, one for sure, but two masculines who were, I believe, the adult children, maybe they were brothers, were given their own home. And it looked like one of the masculines was dealing with some sort of issues that did not allow for them to be able to function without some sort of support. Okay, they had some sort of disability happening where they needed live-in support for day-to-day processes. So, as I mentioned before, I do believe this was one of the adult children associated with this family, and it was a masculine energy. Once again, masculine energy could mean a male child. It could also mean a child operating out of their masculine energy. And when I say adult child, I mean this, I'm looking at someone who's either a Gen X, no, not a Gen X, a millennial or a Gen Z. A millennial or a Gen Z. This is somebody 30s, early 30s and down. Okay. So the mother figure was sitting somewhere near this masculine child in their home they were given. And they seemed frustrated and annoyed with the fact that their child had received this house. They weren't happy about it. And the mother figure was muttering under their breath, saying something about, oh, I guess I'm going to have to gas them up about, being happy about this. Or it was something they were muttering. They were disgruntled, I think is the word I'm looking for. They weren't happy. So my general interpretation of this download was that this mother figure was definitely sus. Okay? They were not happy about their own child receiving this house. I don't know if this was an inheritance. I didn't see why they were receiving it. I just saw that they did. They were sitting in it with the adult child. This adult child was somebody like early 30s and down. And that this masculine required some sort of physical support due to some limitations with self-care. So it could have been that the mother figure was there to help with some sort of support for the adult child. So I did pick up there was a suspicious energy about the family in general. Something was off about that family in general that I was looking at. And for certain, something was off about the energy of the mother figure, who seemed as though she was trying to maintain control over the masculine who had the disability, who had received the house. So my general thoughts was someone needs to be watchful of their family and this mother figure, almost like they were up to no good. Okay, so that's pretty much what I could see from the download. Now, to follow that up, and just to let you know, guys, decks are pre-shuffled. Energy is already cleared, so I'm just going to dive right in. On the pre-pull, I went on ahead and pulled some energy from the Archetypes deck. So I'm going to go on ahead and share that energy with you, and I'm going to read what the meaning of these two cards are from the Archetypes deck, because I wanted to understand something more about, the energy of this family and like what might be going on here. So we had the fault line, which has popped up recently in the energy, and we also had the flame. And the flame card has a candle that is literally encased in a light prism. It looks like a pyramid light prism. So it's almost like it gave me the energy of someone's inner light or inner flame, like something trying to enclose, encapsulate, or control this flame, this inner light that is present in someone or something. And then the fault line, obviously, as I've mentioned before in previous readings when this has popped up, it's basically you're looking at an image of ice with a crack in it. Okay, something is getting ready to break. So something about someone's inner light or inner flame being encapsulated and something getting ready to break or to end. The number 13, just as I mentioned earlier, transition and change, and something getting ready to end. So let's read about the flame. This one talks about the fire, the spark, the glimmer. So in Sanskrit, the word for fire is Ajni. The ancient yogis saw this flame at the center of the abdomen and believed it to be responsible for our vitality. When it is lit, we are connected to our purpose and sense that life is a sacred gift. It is said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. Think of this card as a call to reignite that fire. Yeah, see guys, to cup your hands gently around those things you've forgotten and protect the flame no matter how harshly the winds around you blow. It could be an inner archetype that begs you to light its wick. It is likely that the poet, the mystic, or the shaman will call to you with the language of the flame. Now, interesting, when this card is in the upright, it talks about health, mental clarity, good digestion. Now, okay. This is very interesting. This is very, very interesting because I just mentioned when I first looked at this card, the first thing I thought was Someone is trying to encapsulate someone's flame. This is a control issue. Someone here in this energy is either a light worker, a divine masculine, or has some aspect to them that they could potentially go that direction. Okay, I don't know if this energy is already in this state or is awakening potentially, but there is someone here that is dealing with an energy that is a mother figure that wants to keep control over some energy in their family, i.e. a divine masculine, a light worker, a light bearer, someone who has the potential to go that direction. They want to keep control over that flame. I don't know if they're trying to snuff the flame out or if they are simply just trying to kind of cup their hands over it to try to cover it. Is something going on here with someone trying to control something about someone's light? Okay, so that's the first thing. And then we have the fault line. This one talks about the fissure, the crack, the weak link. This one states, imagine walking across a frozen lake that begins to crack before your eyes. No matter how optimistic and brave you might be, panic ensues. You become fearful and tense and long for stable ground. Such is the energy of the fault line. It's the energy of walking on eggshells, of precious dynamics, of sensing what is ready to break open into chaos. It's likely this cracking open is overdue, as fault lines develop slowly and naturally from underlying elemental pressures. This card comes as a potent warning not to deny the shakiness that's afoot. It's much better to prepare yourself for change, there's that transition, than to walk along the fault line pretending all is well. There's no easy fix for the situation at hand. It will require a foundational shift that alters the current dynamics from the ground up. So in the light or upright, this card means redefining reality and breaking open. Okay, guys, something is definitely getting ready to shift. Something's getting ready to change. Something is getting ready to break open, in particular with this energy, with this family, or the symbology associated with the situation. Take the energy as it resonates, guys. If this specific situation doesn't relate, but there's something in the energy or symbolically that relates, definitely place yourself where it fits, okay? But we're seeing this transition energy, something getting ready to end. Number 13, death to a situation, transition and change. Someone is not going to be able to continue to do what they've been doing in the energy towards either a family member, a symbolic connection or an energy connection, a masculine energy, a masculine adult child. Whatever this is, someone is not going to be able to continue with this energy. And then I pulled some energy from the story cubes. This was interesting. We had introverted in reverse, fantasy in reverse, birch, like the birch tree in reverse, and we had volleyball. And this was not in reverse. This was like going sideways, okay? So it was in the upright. So when I looked at these particular story cubes, the general message that I got, especially because of the pre-pull, was that there is someone who is no longer introverted or in hermit mode. Someone is no longer isolated. Someone is no longer in a fantasy mindset or in an elusive or veiled mindset about something. So somebody's awakened to something that is happening. Maybe that's because they're no longer in hermit mode. Maybe they started to look into what was happening, or maybe they started to awaken and become more aware as they became less introverted or less isolated. And then the birch, that one is interesting because it was in reverse, but I don't know, maybe someone's first, middle, or last name is Birch. Maybe it has to do with a town, a city, a township, an area. Maybe on a property there's a large birch tree or multiple birch trees. Maybe a home has birch wood on it or is constructed of birch wood. I'm not sure about that one, but it is interesting. The birch came up. And then we have volleyball. So that actually definitely someone could be engaging with sports, just taking its surface, but looking deeper, just looking at the root word volley, somebody might be going back and forth about something. Like looking at something and kind of going back and forth about how they want to view it, how they want to digest that information. Maybe they looked at it one way, right? Fantasy in reverse. And now they're seeing it differently. And they're having to make some adjustments in their viewpoint, in the way they're looking at something. And we even talked about that here with the archetypes that popped up in this reading. Something here about transition and change. So it's possible that whomever resonates with today's energy is really stepping into an area of transition and change as it relates to the way they're looking at their family. Or maybe they need to look at their family differently. And they're getting a warning to do that. Something that this energy is picking up on today that's letting them know they need to look deeper than the surface. Okay, there's something more going on here. So we're just going to place the story cubes off to the side. I'm going to pull some energy from the handwritten deck that has the Starseed origins, cities, states, countries, moods, emotions. And what you guys are going to see is probably what I saw when I did the pre-shuffle. There's a lot of different energies associated with this message that has to do with inheritances, receiving things that are rightfully theirs, things that have been withheld, held up, and taken and distributed to others whom they did not belong to. It didn't belong to these ones, but they've been holding some things that belong to the collective for a very long time. Spirit, messages for the collectives, please. Thank you. We have Nihal. Nihal on the table. I believe that is the crystal children and the indigo children. And please remember, guys, we all have multiple starseed origins in us to some extent, more than likely, for the collectives. But definitely you're going to see some different ones pop out. If you are interested in understanding more about these starseed origins, please go online and do some research. The information is there. It's not hard to find. I just don't have time today to go into the definitions for all of the starseeds, okay? I promise you I will come back and do a starseed reading. Ooh, we have Michigan. That's my state. Michigan popped right out. It's in reverse. So we have a starseed, a Nihal starseed or Nihal starseeds in Michigan that this reading affects. Okay. I don't know that I need to take reversals with these, but the reversal could also indicate, that there's some energies, in the state of Michigan that are not on the up and up, that are involved in this, withholding of rightful possessions that belong to the collectives, that, you know, there are individuals that live in that state that are involved in this, you know, south node low vibrational work. Having issues talking. Mexico. Oh dear. Wow, Mexico is on the table. That kind of came out sideways. But looks like there's members of, you know, the Nahal group that are in Michigan, Mexico. We have Egypt on the table. Egypt is on the table. Maybe you're Egyptian origin, have Egyptian ancestors. Maybe you're interested in all things Egypt, or in some things Egypt, or maybe there's practices that have to do with that. But definitely I'm seeing some energy here of starseeds that are crystal children and indigo children. These are people that are here to bring change. Just a side note, guys. It totally makes sense that if you have energies that want to maintain systemic structures, and it's interesting now I'm having issues talking. So there's definitely something we're hitting on right here. So it is interesting when you look at the fact that the Nahal are on the table. Star seeds that are indigo and crystal children, these are children of the baby boomers. Okay, so this is like a switch over generationally. And some of them might even be baby boomers, actually. But this is the baby boomers going forward. So these individuals are here to bring change. So if you have energies that want to maintain control of systemic structures and of the populace, and then you have whole swaths of groups of people who are born or incarnated during a time period, and they're all here and they all have the potential of awakening, that's a problem for groups that want to maintain control. That's too many people awakening at once. So definitely I can see why withholding things, siphoning energy, blocking, gatekeeping energy would be something that energies like this would engage in on such a wide, I guess, level, a wide stream of activity all over the globe, because it could totally tear down their systemic structures to have so many individuals awakening at one time. They're not going to be able to stop this, though. We have Madhava. So somebody might be involved in like bhakti yogi type energy. Somebody might be a yogi. Somebody is very concerned with like Vishnu or Krishna or Lord energy. This could also be an indicator that, you know, God is stepping in relation to Lord, Source, however you refer to the universe, is stepping in regard to what is happening here in this download. That balance is being brought. That's what I see. Whenever I see Madhava, Vishnu, Krishna pop up on the table, you know, something is being brought into balance. Justice is coming. Something's being brought into alignment in relation to this low vibrational energy work and withholding of things that belong to the collectives. Other messages, please, Spirit. Okay. Mayan. Interesting. Something about the Mayan language or region. So somebody, once again, we had Mexico already pop up on the table. That's like, that is, let's see, what's that region? That's interesting. I actually go there all the time, and all of a sudden I can't think of the name of the region. Not Cozumel. It's going to come to me in a minute. But the region in Mexico where they speak Mayan Spanish. So there could be something here about someone in Mexico or energies in Mexico who are being affected by this. That's interesting. It's not in the U.S., but we have somebody maybe that speaks Mayan Spanish. Something having to do with the language or the region. This could be another energy that's being affected. Or maybe having something withheld that's rightfully theirs. That's very interesting. That it's almost like the energy of the region I'm trying to think of. It's like something's holding it back, so I can't think of it and say it. That's very interesting. Maybe this is related to, you know, it's coming up in the energy that something is being held back from you. Maybe a memory that you're trying to remember. It's on the tip of your brain, but for some reason, you just can't remember it. There might be something in the energy here for the collectives in relation to that. Is someone holding something back from you? Something someone doesn't want you to remember that would help you to unravel the mystery here of what is being withheld. That is too many cards. Let's try it this way because things just got weird with the cards. Right around the time period I mentioned that things were being withheld, the cards kind of got funny. They're coming out in clumps. Okay. These three just keep wanting to come out. We're going to take them. Interesting. We have some parallels. Parallel starseeds. Please look that up. Interesting. In the Canton, Plymouth area. That could be Canton, Plymouth in Michigan. That could also be Canton, Plymouth in any state where we see towns called Canton or Plymouth. I think there might be a Canton in Ohio. So we may have some people of parallel starseed origin in Canton or Plymouth. We also have Greece on the table. Looks like there's some starseeds who are parallel descent in Greece and Canton and Plymouth. What else, Spirit? Any other messages from here? Oops. Wow. Let's see. These cards are getting wild. Let's see. We have Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Some parallels in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And then we have Maryland in reverse. It was so interesting. I wrote this on this card. It's in reverse, so there might be some energies there that are doing some resistive things towards some parallel starseed energies in Maryland. What's interesting is I did some research here. There is a headquarters for a Cambodian Buddhist society in Maryland, which is very interesting to me. I wouldn't necessarily connect the two. I'm trying to remember why that popped up, because I think when I was writing out, you know, kind of channeling and writing out some places of import that Spirit wanted me to write down in relation to this deck, Cambodia, I believe, popped up. And then not too long after that, I had Maryland channeling right after it. And for some reason, I decided to look online and see what popped up under Maryland. And sure enough, I typed Maryland in and boom, one of the first links was a headquarters of a Cambodian Buddhist society in Maryland, right after I had written the Cambodia card. So there might be some connection here, guys, to some sort of organization or group in Maryland. Maybe someone who's viewing this video is associated with it, or there's someone in the energy associated with this group or society that touches this energy associated with the collectives. That's very interesting. But Maryland. Okay, what do we have here? We have Mintonkins and Orion starseeds. Mintonkin and Orion starseeds. More energies being affected by this inheritance issue. Okay. Any other information on the Mintonkin and Orion starseeds? Someone is in their ego, guys. Someone in Kansas, Wisconsin is in their ego. And definitely there's something in reverse. Pardon me, guys. My device is slipping around here. There's something about this energy, this Cambodian Buddhist society. Okay, we have Angkor Wat popped up, a Buddhist temple in Cambodia. It was dedicated to Vishnu. That's interesting. I just got done talking about this energy in Maryland. Now we have Angkor Wat popping up, which is a Buddhist temple. It's a historical Buddhist temple. And I believe it's a place that visitors go because it's very ancient. I don't know if it's actually in use any longer, like they're utilizing it for services or ceremonies. I don't know. I think it's more of a historically preserved temple that has, you know, importance in the region in relation to the Buddhist origins or Buddhist history. It's in Cambodia and people go there to visit. It's called Angkor Wat. You can look it up online. Yeah, we have blueprint technicians, Pleiadian starseeds, Earth souls, the Pleiadians, Alpha Fornations. Somebody in Ohio is associated with Alpha Fornation energies, and an egregore. That's very interesting that egregore popped up. So some sort of accumulated energy here that has created its own beingness. Like so many people, so many energies have put energy into something that it's created its own being. The energy has become its own thing. It's like moving on its own. That's very interesting. Thank you, Spirit. I'm going to go to the clarifying life situation stack. That's a lot of energies involved in this inheritance business. And as you can see, they're all over the place. It's not just in the U.S. For my U.S. listeners, this is all over the globe. I'm sure there's more. We just can't cover every specific region, but I'm sure there's more. Let's go to clarifying life situations and see if we can get any clarity on, you know, who's being affected by these energies that want to withhold things from the collectives that are rightfully theirs. Spirit, messages, please, to help us to get some clarity. What is it you would like us to know? Okay, this one wants to pop out. Fully immersed. Everything you want is all around you, just waiting for you to see it. Just like I mentioned before with the archetypes. And with the story cubes. And when I was speaking about news articles and things being released in the media. Whatever this is has been hidden in plain sight. This is why Fully Immersed talks about everything that you want is all around you, just waiting for you to see it. And in the image on the card, somebody is submerged in water, but they're coming to the surface. Something's getting ready to be revealed. It is that fault line energy. There's been a crack in the energy such that we're about to be able to see what's been hidden in plain sight. Something is opening up. Something is being revealed. Number 13, transition and change. We are about to see the end of something and the beginning of something new. Revelations await. Embrace the mystery. Embark on a journey of discovery and watch as secrets unveil before you. Confirmation, confirmation. Something is in plain sight that we have not seen yet. Those associated with today's energy and the collectives who are having certain things withheld from them, or who have historically had certain things withheld from them. There's about to be a grand revealing, a revelation of something. It's going to feel like an old mystery being revealed. And then individuals who are associated with this energy, it will feel like you're embarking on a new journey. That's that transition energy. The end of something and the beginning of something new. And these secrets are about to be unveiled. We have breakthrough. It's going to lead to a breakthrough. Navigate life's many twists and turns with elegance and resilience. Yes, there is a breakthrough, and there is something elegant about your energy, collectives, for those of you who resonate. With all of the challenges and struggles that you've faced, it has not stopped you. You have found elegant ways to move through these energies. You know, you haven't always known exactly how to do it or how to do it expeditiously, but you did get up and find new ways to move through the energy where there's a wall, and then you kind of like almost gracefully move around that wall and just keep walking. For some of you, even unbeknownst to you, you didn't even know that someone was placing a wall there. You were just like, oh, well, there's a wall. Let me go around. And that's been the energy you've been in for years. Spirit is saying that is going to lead you to a breakthrough, because these energies are about to be revealed. What it is they've been doing, how they've been doing it, and who's involved. You're being encouraged to seize every minute. Embrace each moment with purpose, for time is a precious gift on your journey of self-discovery. Yeah, seize the moment. Seize every minute. Because it is time. It's time for you to have this breakthrough. And so once those walls are crumbling, once that doorway is open, you're being encouraged to burst into a sprint and move into these new openings, these new opportunities. You're not going to have the hindrances and the blockages, and the tools that were being withheld, those are going to be granted. You're going to have exactly what you need to move through this, I guess this phase, this cycle, to move out of these past cycles of limitation and blockage. That's over. Ignite your soul. Embrace the mysteries of life. Stay open-minded and embrace the wisdom that unfolds from every experience. Yep, once again, more of this energy about these mysteries are about to be revealed. And in this card, we see the flames. Flames shooting up. And we know fire can be for burning, but it can also be for refining. You've been through a lot. All of those challenges helped you to awaken more to your gifts, and also to refine you, to refine those gifts and abilities, to put them into practice. All this stuff did was ignite your soul. It didn't hinder you. Well, it hindered, but it didn't block you. And you were able to move around those hindrances. You were able to move through those challenges and continue to grow. Guys, we have web of connection here. Weave your connections thoughtfully, creating a supportive web that uplifts your personal and professional journeys. Yeah, you guys are about to have more supports coming in to assist you. This keeps coming up in the energy that collectives, as they move through this phase of limitation and blockage from these energies, because these energies will no longer be able to do that. They're going to have to give up what is owed. And that is universal. They're not able to stop it. So they're not coming up against you any longer. They're coming up against your guides, your spirit team, universal energies. For some of you, your Starseed families and support. This has to do with the evolution of the human populace. They're not going to be able to stop this. So your web of connection is going to grow. So not only do you have your guides and your spirit team and any kind of ancestral or starseed support, you're also going to be getting support in the physical realm here. New friends, soul family groups, supportive energies around you. You're being encouraged to plan wisely. Cultivate success through meticulous research and strategic plotting. Your foresight will unveil new paths. Yes, so after those doorways are opened up to you and you are able to just kind of elegantly and gracefully move through them, which these energies are definitely butthurt about. They didn't want you moving through them at all, much less in a calm and put together energy. Okay? They wanted you disheveled and all over the place and not able to see the path. So you'd miss it. But you're going to move through that. You're being encouraged to get into a mindset, you know, mental organization, planning. So that way you can utilize that time frame of moving through those, you know, historical barriers and boundaries that were put in place for you. As you move through them, you're going to need to get organized, okay? Whatever this is that you're working on, or your soul path, you know, your new earth energies, your light work, whatever it is that you're here to do, you're going to want to get organized about it. And something here about planning wisely is going to help you to do that. Secrets are emerging. In the rhythm of cycles, the hidden is unveiled. Await the reveal with an open heart and mind. So, yep, the truth is coming out. You're about to understand who these energies are. Even energies that have been sitting around you, silently working against you. That is going to be revealed as well. So that way you can know, once again, who the players are. Okay? And that might have something to do with the Plan Wisely card. So you can see how you need to move, what changes or shifts you need to make. And then lastly from this deck, we have the Free to Move. And here we see an image of a feminine energy just spinning gracefully in full movement, in flow. You're being encouraged to embrace your liberty, to explore your new paths. The world is wide open for your journey. Yeah, you guys are going to be free to move. There's not going to be any more of this hindrance or blockage like you've formerly felt and seen in your life. You're going to notice the energy lift. So a lot of the work after that point is really going to be about your mindset. Do you see the world around you as being blocked, closed off? Or are you open to experiencing the truth of what's happening, which is that those blockages are being lifted off of you so that you are free to move? Because at that point, the only thing stopping us, the only thing hindering us will be us. Wow. I'm going to just take a couple cards here from this other handwritten deck, and we're going to close out. Because the reading's getting kind of long. I know there was a lot of information today, but I really felt like it was super important to share this with collectives. Closing messages for the collectives today, please. Ooh. Well, we'll grab that one later. Or I'll post it. Closing messages for the collectives. Let's leave them on the surface here, Spirit, so that way we can actually read them. Beautiful. Thank you. Island of Sanity. Yes. You guys are being encouraged to go to the Island of Sanity. And I've told this story before. I was actually sitting at a Buddhist temple and heard a speech about the Island of Sanity. And then like, I don't know, 6 months later, COVID broke out. It was crazy. Something here about you guys finding that inner space of peace, okay, as you move through these energies. Marvelous opportunities await you. The number 8 is on the table. That might be significant. Oops. Maybe the month of August. I don't know. Maybe somebody has the number 8 in their birthday. Maybe somebody was born in a year that ends with the number 8. I'm not sure. The number 8 is significant. We have the letter P. The letter P, the number 8, and then guys, you will not believe this, the number 13 just popped up. This is confirmation. Maybe you will believe it. This is confirmation of transition, change, the ending of something, the beginning of something new. I'm super aggro. Why can't I affect you? It's in reverse. They're not able to do anything. These energies are aggravated that they have to turn this over. Somebody is questioning whether they have to do that, but yes, they do. Yeah, groupthink and programming. There's a group that's involved in this energy. Somebody wants you to not be happy. Happiness was in reverse. You are definitely very happy, or you're going to be very happy, collectives. Somebody is a water sign, or someone likes to be around the water. Any other messages this one wanted to pop? Somebody needs to engage in consistent self-care and health and wellness. Somebody needs to focus on their health and wellness. Once again, remember, plan wisely. You know, mental organization, thinking about what you need to focus on. That's going to be important for this stage because you are free to move. Okay, we want you healthy and happy to do that. Any other messages for the collectives out of this deck, please? Yeah, someone you know, you're getting confirmation. There's someone, for those of you who resonate now, don't make it fit if it doesn't, someone with the first, middle, or last initial E. Someone you know might be involved in withholding information or withholding something from you. Maybe we can chill. I want something more. Somebody is interested in, I don't know, having some sort of relationship with you or wanting something more with you. Please be careful. These could be energies popping up here in relation to some of the energies in the collectives who are being affected. You may have energies around you who are involved in withholding information from you that are disguised as friends, family, partners, you know, romantic relationships. Yeah, Spirit is confirming. That's amazing. Spirit is confirming. You're starting to hear the truth about what's happening here. Any other messages here? Somebody's been doing some love spell manipulation. Oh, wow. Somebody with the first, middle, last initial T. Yikes. Somebody associated with music. Something here is being interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning. Uh-oh. Somebody's cold-blooded. Somebody is not appropriate. Somebody with the first, middle, last initial U. Oh, dear. Okay, guys. I'm going to stop there because definitely I think because there's so many energies involved with this, this could go on and on and on. But this should give you an idea here of, you know, how big this whole story spans and how many energies this story is touching and affecting. This is a big one. So apologies that the reading was kind of long today, but I think it's really important to take away from this that as we get information, because information is going to come out. Be mindful of the stories you see in the news media, things coming across in the readings online, tarot, oracle, energy readings, coaches, whatever you're seeing online where people are talking about current events and stories. Look beneath the surface, not just the surface information. Make the connections. Also, as energy is being revealed to you about people, places, things around you, look deeper than the surface. For some of you who resonate with today's energy, there are individuals, people, places, and things around you who are associated with energies that are withholding information. Something that is not being shown overtly by them that is going to be revealed. So guys, that is the message for today. I'm going to go on ahead and hop off. I want to thank all of my subscribers, all the visitors to the channel. Love and light to you, and definitely love and light to all of those who resonate with today's message. Hang tight. It's a little bumpy ride, but we're going to get through it, and we're going to have more information coming out. And definitely, I look forward to being with you in the next reading. Guys, my name is Ora-gen, and this is the Ora-gen Channel, and I will see you in the next reading.